How was school today? Hello?
No.
I'm just a bear driving.
Daddy, stop that.
Nope, I'm a bear.
Ah.
You're in my world now.
I want to go back home.
You want to go home?
Yeah.
You are home in my bear cave. Ah. Set the tone!
All right, man, Torture Talk. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, Vietnam. You ever seen that movie? You ever seen that movie, Good Morning, Vietnam? You in my world now. Man. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. I should show up as a bear. I'm a bear. All right, man. So look. So today's episode, Billboard has named Kendrick Lamar the #1 pop star of 2024. Y'all heard that right. Billboard. The same Billboard that said that he was going to lose to Drake. The same Billboard that said Drake is the #1 rapper of 2024. So look, we going to get into that. Before I get into that, I got to get the legendary spill. This is Torture Talk. If you like the content, please consider subscribing. If you're new here, let me work on your subscription today. All the beautiful, single, sexy ladies, put one in the chat. All the fellas, y'all know where to find the ones that. Just don't harass them. I don't sell no merch, but I do have content absolutely free. But if you want to leave a donation, links is in the description. Cash App. No more PayPal. They call me the hidden gem. I went from 1,300 subscribers to over 13,000. And yes, I am the king of the north. Salute to all my kings from all over. Let me know what kingdom you from. Maybe we could link up, could shake your hand. Ladies, give you a hug. Come in close, baby. You know what it is. So look, let's get it. We're going to go right to it. Let's do it. All right, this comes courtesy of Nolan. You know what it is. I'm going to link his channel. His channel is absolutely amazing. He always previewing something at the beginning of his channel. Every time he does a video, I believe he does a freestyle where he does something. He's actually an amazing rapper, by the way. I'm probably going to react to one of his songs. It's pretty good. His Cash App, all his other handles is right there. His X account, and I don't know what that is. I don't have an X account. I'm probably never going to have one, and I like Elon, but I just don't want an X account. I do have an X account, but I don't have one for this. And yeah. So let's get right to it, man. I'm talking too much. Let's get to it. Let's get to this. So, all right, let's get it.
Are crowning him in this particular year-end roundup. All right. Again, I'm gonna share my screen. Let's get into it. All right. Billboard staffs greatest pop stars of 2024. #1, Kendrick Lamar. And they've been going through it, doing a countdown for weeks, doing a top 10. I haven't been covering it because I really didn't expect anybody from hip hop to really be included.
All right, so I'm gonna say this, man. This is why I say Kendrick Lamar is the GOAT. And I know a lot of people are going to be hating on this. And I talk a lot on Drake when it comes to him being a pop star. Now, there is a reason why I say Drake is a pop star. And the reason why is because Drake is not culturally integrated solely when it comes to hip hop. He's not. Kendrick Lamar is. Now, the thing about pop music, and I know this is going to sound like I'm caping for Kendrick, but I got to be honest. Pop music is just popular music. That's it. You can be a rap star or hip hop star and be pop. Jay-Z is a pop star. I remember when Jay-Z debuted Hard Knock Life. It's the Hard Knock Life. I heard that on Q102. And that's not a hip hop station. but people was upset with it. Now, I don't know why. And I mean, you know what? I'm going to let Nolan talk a little more because I'm talking too much. And I'm going to explain to y'all, I'm going to give y'all my breakdown of black culture in pop music. And I think it's very important that y'all hear what I got to say. And I ain't saying it just so y'all can stick around. Well, maybe. I don't know. But let's go.
Kendrick Lamar is now taking the number one spot. They say Kendrick was merely on the fringes of pop stardom going into the year. But after a world swallow in 2024, he is once again on the short list of the biggest and greatest pop stars in the world. This is written by Andrew Unterberger. For this year's update of our ongoing Greatest Pop Star by Year project, Billboard has been counting down our editorial staff picks for the 10 greatest pop stars of 2024 for the last week. You can see the artists we've already counted down, plus our honorable mentions. I'm going to go to that in a moment after we get through this Kendrick piece. Comeback of the Year and Rookie of the Year artists all right here. Now, at number 1, we remember the year in Kendrick Lamar, who had a year that felt historic from its opening blast and only got greater as it went. Listen to our new Greatest Pop Stars podcast discussing both our 2 top artists and the thinking behind their rankings here. I would love to know
the only thing that you really have to understand
thinking behind that, but y'all be claiming shit. So they say Kendrick Lamar's 2024 was about many things, but first and foremost, it was all about him letting people know just what he's capable of. It was essentially the thesis statement behind the biggest song of the year. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas, with a sentiment that also ended up offering the title to the centerpiece event of his year. And throughout 2024, the often low-profile rapper did indeed keep popping out, emerging with new releases or revelations that captured headlines and captivated the culture. By year's end, the people had unquestionably been shown in ways they would never forget. And in truth, it wasn't unreasonable for the veteran MC to assume that a reminder was needed. Not that anyone had really forgotten about Kendrick Lamar or his greatness. His run of unanimously acclaimed albums and beloved singles in the 2010s had already cemented him as a consensus all-time great. But praise for his most recent album, 2022's challenging Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, was tempered and mostly brief. It received positive initial reviews and strong first-week numbers, but failed to either spawn a long-running hit single or dominate critics' year-end list the way his previous sets had. I think that's y'all's fault, not his.
Kendrick Lamar, to me, always dominated. I think that a lot of artists know not to come out when Kendrick drops. And even Drake. Drake don't drop when Kendrick drops. Nobody drops when Kendrick drops. You know what I'm saying? I think Drake is more on the lines of, he drops and he gets sales because of his global popularity. But I don't think a lot of people be jumping for joy when Drake drops an album. I think people listen to it, but they don't listen. They listen to it to see if he actually coming up with something newer and better. They don't listen to it because they're excited. At least in my opinion.
Because I still hold that up as my favorite of his catalog, but we'll keep going. The following year, his output was kept to 2 collaborative singles, with Baby Keem on the Hillbillies and Beyonce on the America Has a Problem remix. Both were met with similar initial enthusiasm, but little lasting commercial impact. Lamar was still a huge force in hip-hop and an overall legend, but he hadn't been a major needle mover in the mainstream since 2017-18, when he dominated pop culture with Damn and his curated Black Panther soundtrack. So,
yeah, Damn definitely was his biggest opening record. I think that was over 600K in 1 week. I think Damn, the reason why it was so big is because coming off of the heels of To Pimp a Butterfly, a lot of people wanted to see if he was going to continue on with it. And on top of that, The Heart Part 4 came out, and he was talking real spicy on there. And, you know, and he was like, he said, y'all got until, I believe he said April 14th to get your, but it didn't drop on that date. It dropped later. So the rollout, I believe the rollout for GNX probably was better, but Damn definitely was something that a lot of people, it hit people, it was different. It was different.
we just not going to act like Family Ties was a thing, huh? because that had the culture in a chokehold. Still does to this day. But whatever. What made Kendrick Lamar's 2024 so remarkable, though, was that he didn't just remind us of all the reasons why he was so big at his commercial and cultural peak. He showed that he could do things we'd never seen from him before. He showed that he was capable of hitting heights no other rapper had reached this decade, a period that had otherwise marked something of a downturn for the once seemingly indomitable genre's mainstream prospects. He showed that he was able to create cultural moments of both singular blunt force impact and massive historical gravity, and then to do it again and then again. And he showed that at his absolute best and biggest, he could dominate the streets, the charts, and everywhere in between with equal sun-blocking vastness, and emerge as the winner not only when pitted against his most direct adversaries, but against any other potential peer in popular music. I find all of this to be extremely funny.
Yeah, I do too. I do too, because I remember y'all was saying that he was going to lose that battle. Like, for real. I remember y'all. Everybody was saying he was going to lose to Drake. Everybody was saying that. Everybody. This is what you got to understand. Y'all really, the Drake effect is really showing its real face now. A lot of y'all like I said in the other previous video, it's like a mental disorder with y'all. Y'all have it stained in y'all brain that Drake has to win. He had to win. Y'all don't believe that, but let's keep it going, man. I don't want to talk too much because I got a lot to say at the end, so let's go.
Because it was just last night, what's her name? Moni Love. She just was talking about Billboard predicted that even if Kendrick Lamar won the battle, they felt that Drake was going to win, right? When Drake dropped, they said he's in a battle with Kendrick Lamar, who even if he wins, Drake will win. That's what it was back in April after Like That came out. Now, all of a sudden, he's the greatest pop star of the year. Can I find that real quick? April 15th, Billboard. Even if Drake loses the Kendrick Lamar battle, here's why he already won the war.
You know what I mean?
While Kendrick's verse on...
All of y'all, even the publications, y'all were counting Kendrick out. All of y'all. Even the publication. All of y'all. I seen podcasts. Oh, he gonna get smoked. Drake? Man, Drake gonna drop a slap on this dude. I'm trying to tell you, he gonna do this. Watch you did. When Drake dropped push-ups and he was like, don't make me wake the demon up. Man, Joe Buttons was going crazy low. Yo, I heard some shit. He got something coming, I'm telling you. And it ain't pretty. Let's just say this. And all of y'all was caping for Drake. And what happened? What happened? What happened? Go ahead, tell me. What happened? What happened? You know what happened. Got his boots smoked. Got them boots smoked. I'm a bear. That's what he said. You in my world now.
Metro Boomin and futures like that reverberated the hip-hop space. Drake fired back and looks to take control over a war he's probably already won. That's a very interesting turn of events in exactly 8 months. Now, I know people say, hey, man, your whole life could change in a year, but goddamn, we talking about... Shit, we just had the video talking about Kendrick's lyrics on 30 for 30. Didn't he say something about niggas saluting and about facing? This is quite an about face, Billboard. And the Moni Love I was talking about is Chilling with Moni, not the rapper Moni Love, just for clarification purposes. We'll continue. And it was like that from the very jump. After a quiet first couple months to his year, Kendrick Lamar crash landed onto 2024 in March with his guest verse on Future and Metro Boomin's incendiary new Like That, the song that y'all said Drake was gonna win anyway. Absolutely everything about the song and his appearance on it was a big deal. Lamar's cameo was kept under wraps until its release as the lead single and sixth track on Future and Metro's much anticipated We Don't Trust You album, and his unexpected presence was the most exciting part of a release that was already generating some of the loudest buzz of the early year. And the song itself was an obvious and immediate scorcher even before Kendrick's entrance. Based around expertly deployed high-octane samples of 80s rap classics by Rodney O and Joe Cooley, Everlasting Bass, and Eazy-E's Easy Does It, and Future's own effortless, understated Cool Like That, had a timeless and fundamentally hip-hop energy to it that any MC drop-in would have likely sounded great over.
Now, here's the thing. I don't believe Future. He's absolutely capping when he said he didn't hear that verse. Travis Scott heard the song. And he's saying, this is what Metro said. I don't know if this is true or not. Metro said that he sent the beat to Kendrick, and Kendrick sent it back, I believe, in 6 minutes or something like that. They heard this verse before it came out. There's nowhere in the world that Metro Boomin and Future didn't hear this record before he put it on the album and it came out. The album is with Future and Metro Boomin, the whole album. So you can't be like, oh, a Future didn't hear the song because Metro Boomin. No, this whole album is their album. So when he said he didn't hear the record, he didn't know, that's cap. That's 100% cap. I'm not trying to hear that. Unless they gave Kendrick the record and said, we're dropping the album on this day, we need you to send it and we're going to drop it. Unless that happened, I definitely don't think that they heard that joint. I'm sorry, they heard it.
The song y'all underrated and said he gonna lose anyway. But as explosive as the song could have been, even without him, it was still Kendrick's shit, stirring guest verse that really lit its fuse. His I Choose Violent sentiments, which followed in the footsteps of Megan Thee Stallion's Hiss. I see Billboard following suit with giving both artists their credit for kicking off the year. A similarly fire-starting and internet-conquering Billboard Hot 100 #1 hit from a couple months earlier were inflammatory from its opening bars, but largely narrowed their focus as his guest verse went onto two specific targets, fellow rap superstars Drake and J. Cole. Those two had scored a Billboard Hot 100 #1 together the year before with First Person Shooter from Drake's For All the Dogs album. The song, which Lamar also rumored to have been invited to appear on, declared the trio a big three via Cole's guest verse, implying, as many rap fans had similarly claimed throughout the years, that they were rap's reigning triumvirate, having each enjoyed over a decade of consistent commercial success and fan support. I'm still not over the way J. Cole's year turned out, but you know, such is life, man. Hopefully 2025 will be better for him as he winds down.
J. Cole year turned out because of J. Cole. I'll be honest with y'all, it would have been a epic spectacle if J. Cole and Drake went at Kendrick. That would have been nuts. J. Cole bowed out because I think J. Cole felt as though that the beef was really between them two. But J. Cole been taking shots at Kendrick for years. J. Cole, I lost a lot of respect for him musically. I don't know him personally. We talking about musically. I lost a lot of respect for J. Cole musically. The reason why is because he started doing a lot of stuff years ago. When you go back and listen to his stuff, you understand that J. Cole has been sneak dissing a lot of people for a long time, and especially Kendrick. But then he's one of those type of people who, he's a wolf in sheep clothing. That's J. Cole. J. Cole pretends to be this righteous friend of yours, and then behind closed doors, he's trying to kill you. He's trying to get you out of here. That's how I feel about J. Cole. I think that if J. Cole would have stayed in this, it would have been much more of a debate between the three. Who is the best? They definitely would have dominated, and J. Cole could have took advantage of that because he could have came up with something Drake came out with something and they both would have went at Kendrick or whatever. I still think Kendrick would have won, and I think Kendrick was prepared for both of them. And probably would have even looked more better on Kendrick end because he would have been battling the two top guys. But J. Cole backed down like a little bitch and messed everything up for him. I don't feel sorry for J. Cole's career taking a dive. He's not gonna fall off to the point where nobody cares about him. But I don't care about his career taking a dive because he had a chance to actually prove that he was the best, and he passed it up like a bitch. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want it. He didn't want to take that crown. Kendrick came in guns blazing, kicked the door down. Boop, get me that. That was Kendrick. J. Cole, Drake put up a fight, but he got beat up. J. Cole ran and said, "I'm sorry."
The latter part of his career, which might be the final year. The three were not necessarily entering 2024 on equal footing, though, particularly not Kendrick and Drake. Kendrick's critical acclaim and across-the-board approval was easily the most consistent of the three. He has 17 career Grammys, third amongst all rappers, and over 3 times as many as Drake's 5, but he had also been the spottiest in recent years as a hit maker. Meanwhile, Drake's reviews had become progressively less enthused throughout his prior decade, but he remained bulletproof on the charts. First Person Shooter had been his 13th hot number 100, moving him into a tie with Michael Jackson for the most in chart history among male solo artists. Kendrick had just 2 total for his career to that point, and none since 2017. While holding increasingly polarized places in the industry, the two pivotal hip-hop figures also maintained an uneasy relationship with one another. They started on good terms in 2011, with Kendrick getting a big early look on Buried Alive interlude from Drake's Take Care and as an opener on his Club Paradise tour the next year, but their relationship chilled soon after, particularly in 2013 when Kendrick appeared on Big Sean's Control. So they're giving us a whole history lesson of this man's career as to what led to him being the greatest pop star of 2024. That's a very...
I'm actually gonna do an episode, and it's gonna be called Billboard versus accolades, hits versus accolades, because I think that a lot of people clown Kendrick for him having multiple awards and Grammys, but they don't clown Drake for having multiple hits on Billboard, which is a pop, basically pop, mostly pop. So I want to talk about that. I'm actually going to do a whole episode about that. I'm going to go through some things. So let's keep it going.
very interesting way of positioning this. With that instantly legendary guest verse, the West Coast superstar essentially anointed himself the best rapper of his generation. It was already out there, while listing his competition, including Drake and Cole, by name and saying with love that he was aiming to murder all of them. Drake smarted at the call out, and the two would trade subliminal barbs back and forth on and off record for years to follow. By the time of Like That, Kendrick was not feeling so subliminal. He didn't mention either Drake or Cole by name yet, but he left little doubt as to his intentions this time around, literally stating fuck, sneak dissing, name checking, First Person Shooter, and then proclaiming with disdain so acidic it could eat through your stereo speakers, motherfuck the big three, nigga, it's just big meat. And while it was Cole's quote he was responding to, Kendrick's true malice seemed directed at Drake, given the verse's reference to Prince outliving Mike Jack and For All the Dogs. He gonna see Pet Cemetery.
Yeah, he smoked that. Like that may be one of his best verses this year. The bars stand. I'm gonna tell y'all like this. Kendrick Lamar and Joe Budden's and them talking about some Drake one lyrically or rap wise. I don't know what they was smoking. I don't know what they smoking. Bar wise, come on, man. Every bar Kendrick said has a standout, bro. Big Three is just Big Me. Pet Cemetery. And man, listen, bro. I don't even gotta go through Euphoria. Hey, Shot of the Year. So many bars. Like for real. You lied. You lied about this. You lied about it. Sandra, sit down. Let me tell you something. Now listen. Your son's a sick man with sick thoughts. Like, come on, bro. It's no competition, bro. It's no competition.
As the rap world collectively lost their minds at the sizzling beef of the consensus, best rapper of his generation firing shots at the obvious biggest, The song became an immediate smash, debuting atop the Hot 100, lasting 3 weeks at number 1 and confirming Kendrick as officially back. Very interesting. Nonetheless, as the days passed following Kendrick Lamar's call-out and rap Rubberneckers awaited, if not demanded, a response from Drake, the first rapper to actually reply to the diss was J. Cole. Oh man, this is the part of the history lesson I don't want to even talk about. As part of his surprise release mixtape anxiously titled Might Delete Later, Cole offers some thoughts about Kendrick on the album's closer 7-minute drill. He mocked the reclusive rapper's lack of productivity. He averaging one hard verse like every 30 months or something. And the underwhelming reception to Mr. Morale. Your last shit was tragic. Ah, boy. But still, went pretty soft at him.
Yeah, that Mr. Morale is better than every J. Cole album. Like, I just gotta say it. I don't understand how he even said that. That was crazy. That was crazy word. Your last is tragic. Like maybe he's saying tragedy. Maybe he was flipping the narrative, like flipping the words, saying it was a tragic, not like it was bad. More like it was tragic. Like he talked about a lot of stuff on that album, but there's no way you said that Pimp a Butterfly was a snooze fest. You're bugging. Like as an MC, I know sometimes we say things, but sometimes we say things and we know when you writing that down, you're like, damn, I don't really mean this. I can't even say this. Like, you might as well had not said nothing about his catalog. I think J. Cole would have been better if he just spit a verse. That was it. If he didn't, because the thing about I feel like J. Cole, how I feel about J. Cole, I feel like J. Cole, he can't battle rap. I feel like he's good at just writing verses and then you think he's talking about somebody. I don't think that J. Cole can actually battle because 7-minute drill was not good. I watch people just say this. It was okay. It was not a great record. The beat was kind of average to ass. It's not a great record. So him coming at Kendrick and then Euphoria coming, nah. He wasn't ready for it because I know that when I believe Schoolboy Q probably said to him, look, bro, stay out the way because your boy about to get smoked, bro. I'm telling you, he about to get smoked. Better stay out the way. And maybe he took that to, it's like, all right, you go, all right, cool. But there's no way in the world I'm sorry. Forest Hill Drive, Born Sinner may be J. Cole's best albums, but I could put any Kendrick Lamar album against any J. Cole album, and it probably would win. I can put any Kendrick album up against J. Cole albums, any one of them. I know a lot of people say Forest Hill Drive is his classic, but I mean, let's be clear here. Some people said Forest Hill Drive was better than The Pimp a Butterfly. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. It's like, you know what? Let's keep it going.
I raps diss standards and even admitted his misgivings about the beef in the final verse. I'm hesitant. I love my brother, which I didn't support from the jump. I said that he should have kept that song. Other folks were hyped up about it until the end of the weekend. Those reservations bloomed into full-on regret within days as the track got a mixed at best reception from fans. And by that Sunday, Cole was referring to drill as the lamest shit I ever did in my fucking life to his fans at his own Dreamville Festival and vowing soon after to delete the track from the tape, which he did.
But
they giving a whole...
I don't see, and this is why J. Cole could never be the greatest of all time. He will always be running behind. He said that was the lamest thing he ever did in his life, right? This is what J. Cole said. But Kendrick Lamar took your bar and he dissed you. F the big three, it's just big me. Basically saying, like, get out of here, bro. Like, and what you did, you ran from the smoke. You came you came, and then you probably realized that you probably have, because J. Cole and Kendrick and J. Cole got a lot of songs together. A lot of songs. And he probably went back and listened to verses. I was like, or he probably was like, wait a minute. Nah, I can't. Nah, this is the wrong guy to test. Like, no.
A whole lesson with all the characters included. Following Cole's bow out from the feud, fans once again turned to Drake for an answer. The biggest rapper in the game for the prior decade plus, it was hardly the first time Drake had been so publicly provoked. And as a student of rap history and of rap battles in particular, he'd proven up for the challenge multiple times before. In early April, push-ups leaked on the internet and showed a Drake who seemed revitalized and hungry for more. Dinging Kendrick for his allegedly bad label deal, his history of questionable guest verses for pop stars, and his height, among many other things, push-ups inspired mostly positive response, and unlike 7 Minute Drill, made it clear that Drake was ready to rumble. Now, I find it very interesting we're going to say allegedly bad record deal. How bad could your record deal possibly be if you have ownership stake in the entire company? As with all the OG TDE members have shares in the company.
I don't think that his record deal is bad. But anyway, you know what Drake reminds me of? I don't know if any of y'all seen this. Have any of y'all ever seen Transformers, the movie? The first one, the animated movie. The first one with Hot Rod, right? If you ever see that, Ultra Magnus, Hot Rod, Unicron, Galvatron, you know what I'm saying? If you ever see that movie, Starscream is in the movie. And Starscream, something happens to him. I don't want to spoil it. That's, I believe, is Drake. He thought he took over, and then someone came and did something. That's all I'm going to say. If you ever see it, it's classic. Go back and watch it. It's very good movie. It's for adults, for kids too, but definitely a good movie. All of those Hasbro movies was good. G.I. Joe, all of them. But check it out if you get a chance.
Ain't that what Drake's asking for from UMG today? And trying to go to the feds about? Okay. 5 days after officially releasing Push-Ups, Drake dropped another diss, Tailor-Made Freestyle, which needs to be stricken from the record, but whatever. Featuring AI versions of the Toronto rapper rhyming as Snoop Dogg and Tupac, not even doing... You know what was so weird about Tailor-Made? Is all he did was put AI on his voice and continued to rap in his own fucking style. He didn't actually encompass Snoop or Pop in the delivery.
I disagree with that. He definitely did rap. He definitely did write the raps, or whoever wrote those raps. But he didn't really go overboard with Tupac and Snoop, but he definitely did sound like Tupac a little bit. He didn't do the really get into it, but he sounded a little bit like him. I gotta admit that. And Snoop too. Nephew. You know what I'm saying? I just think that his rap style just kind of clashed with it. But I mean, I can understand why Nolan would say that though.
In the writing, he just wrote in his own fucking rap style with their voice. That shit was like weird. That was the weirdest part for me. Of course, the AI thing, even trying it, I guess it was clever to a degree, but it was also extremely weird. Whatever, we'll keep going. Showing extra disrespect to the Compton MC by mimicking his West Coast progenitors and further taunting Kendrick for not having responded to Drake's first diss yet. With the days passing and no Kendrick response yet in the offing, some onlookers began to wonder if he was unprepared for Drake's multi-pronged response. But he answered such doubts on April 30th with the release of Euphoria, a 6+ minute excoriation. Not excoriation. Of all things Drizzy, poking at his insecurities about his mixed race and overall place in the culture. His supposedly absent...
I told my boy before this battle happened, he swore up and down that Kendrick was going to lose. And I said, look, I'm going to explain something to you. It's one thing that you got to understand how Kendrick is really good at. There's a couple of rappers that's only good at this, and Kendrick is one of them. He can talk about Drake's inconsistencies and his manhood and him being a man, stand-up man, whatever you want to call it. He definitely could talk about his characteristics as a person. And I'm telling you, that's going to win. He's like, nah, what can he really say, man? What can he say? So I'm telling you, bro, watch, you'll see. And that's exactly what Kendrick did.
Parenting, and even his alleged issuing of a cease and desist order over like that. Kendrick also declared himself the biggest hater, evidenced it with a laundry list of Drake items that inspired such ire in him. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress. And then warned against Drake responding, if you take it there, I'm taking it further. Psst, that's something you don't want to do. The song electrified the internet, topping the daily and real-time rankings across streaming services, debuting at number 11 on the Hot 100 despite its midweek drop, and reaching number 3 after its first full week of release. And it continued to go up. From there, the volleys in the feud came increasingly fast and furious. That day, 3 days after Euphoria, Kendrick returned with 616 in LA, an Al Green sampling disc titled after Drake's famous timestamp series, which posited that even members of Drake's own team, were turning against him in the beef. That song didn't get much time to marinate though, as Drake responded that night with his biggest punch in the series, Family Matters, a remarkable 7-minute, 3-part epic that saw Drake adapt in multiple different flows to take on not just Kendrick, but several of the side opponents who had jumped into the beef at various points, including Rick Ross, The Weeknd, and A$AP Rocky. It also came with a video featuring Drake crushing a version of the car Kendrick featured on the cover of his Good Kid, Mad City album, flaunting jewelry that used to belong to tertiary feud figure Pharrell, and even eating at Chinese restaurant New Ho King, which Kendrick referenced on Euphoria. Most notably, it ended with accusations about Kendrick being physically abusive to fiancée Whitney Alford. They hired a crisis management team to clean up the fact that you beat on your queen. Family Matters was a stunner, but the song got even less time in the spotlight than 616 in LA. Not even an hour later, Kendrick returned fire with Meet the Grams, a series of lyrical letters penned to Drake, real name Aubrey, and members of his family, mother Sandra, father Dennis, son Adonis.
Bro, Meet the Grams, it really... People was upset that Kendrick dropped Meet the Grams. It took all the shine away from Drake. I know people... Listen, Meet the Grams might be the best out of all the diss tracks. I mean, I know Not Like Us is the greatest diss track of all time, but out of this whole thing, I think Meet the Grams is the best diss track out of all of them. Because Meet the Grams he took the air out of the room on Drake. Drake dropped Family Matters. Kendrick was like, okay, I got you. And he dropped Meet the Grams. And you want to talk about my family? Well, I'm going to talk to your family. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk to your family. How about that? And it was something that was remarkable. I think Family Matters actually, out of all the diss tracks, it actually stopped time. It stopped time. It's like, okay, time out, bro. This is getting a little bit too serious. Time out. It really hurt. It really hit people to the core. That song, to this day, it gives me goosebumps when I listen to it.
That made for the most vicious and cold-sounding entry in the beef. What about the alleged daughter? Y'all gonna skip that, huh? Over icy piano plinks, Kendrick launched a full-on character assassination of his opponent, not only raising the stakes with major accusations of
We bought our house 2 years ago, and the way that everything is such
of his own, that Drake had been sleeping with underage girls, but mentioning a secret daughter. Okay, thought y'all was tripping. Of the Six Gods, calling back to Drake's feud with rap great Pusha T in 2018, which had essentially ended with Pusha's revelation that Drake was hiding a child in Adonis. By this point, the feud had gotten exceedingly messy with horrific allegations, some of which would be downright criminal in nature if proven true, but none of which were ever accompanied with any real evidence, they say. The actual veracity of the matter seems to mean less to onlookers than the escalation of both the drama of the back and forth and the speed by which it was now being accelerated anyway, leaving rap fans delirious with whiplash and making it tricky to rule on who, if either, was leading in the fight. We knew who was leading in the fight because who was bringing the harder punches to the motherfucking ring. Who was lighting up that scorecard that week? Anyway, but the next song will be a clear KO. Not even 24 hours after Meet the Grams, Kendrick released his third new song of the weekend with Not Like Us. The song doubled down on the accusations of Grams with barbs as brain sticking as they were condemning, trying to strike a chord in his rallying minor. And also spent an entire verse breaking down how Drake used his Atlanta collaborators for cred and cachet, concluding, "You ain't a colleague, you's a fucking colonizer." Now we have Lil Baby coming out saying he didn't like being mentioned in that record. "If y'all two are in a fight, please leave me out of it. Don't include me. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I ain't really like you mentioning my name in that song like that, bruh." No worries. Don't worry. You ain't gonna be mentioning a motherfucking thing because niggas ain't been feeling your last shit no way. You got 2 albums finna come out in a span of a couple months. Let's see what those do, because you been out here recreating the vibes that got you famous. Lil Baby starting to look like Duh Baby. And I fuck with you, my boy, but not that much. Let's keep going. But more important than the song's lyrical content was how goddamn catchy the thing was. Outside of the beef starting like that, Drake and Kendrick had mostly been sparring with long, hookless songs based around aggressive, unwelcoming productions. Not Like Us, by contrast, was irresistible from its opening saxes and strings, with an infectious Monk Higgins sampling beat hymn by storied West Coast producer Mustard, and a universally applicable 4-word chant along chorus, "They Not Like Us." The song wasn't just another crushing body blowing the beef, it was also an undeniable pop smash, the kind of jam you could hear and love without knowing a single thing about the context behind it. It was a knockout blow.
Yeah, so I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's a long, long piece. If y'all want to watch it, the rest of it, y'all go to his channel and he will have the whole thing up there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's too long. I don't want it to be, this whole episode to be an hour, 30 minutes or some shit. So, all right. So all they did was go through why Kendrick Lamar is the greatest pop star of the 2024. So I'm gonna get my initial thoughts on this. There's a big difference between, and I think a lot of people are gonna catch wind of this, and they're gonna call Kendrick Lamar fans and Kendrick Lamar people, or whoever like Kendrick Lamar, they're gonna call Kendrick Lamar people hypocrites. Because they're gonna say, well, on one hand, how can you say that Kendrick Lamar is this hip hopster? And it kind of leads into the theory of what 50 Cent was saying, that Kendrick is, the industry is trying to push Kendrick and push out real hip hop. Now, the reason why I have a huge issue with what 50 said is you basically saying that Kendrick wasn't real hip hop and Drake was real hip hop. Well, street hip hop, he said. So you basically saying that Drake ran the game for 15 years. This is 50 Cent's argument. Drake ran the game for 15 years. And everybody's jealous of him because they wanted him off top. But the industry wants to push out Drake and put Kendrick in place because they want to push out street rap. But Drake's not a street rapper, and you said he was running the game for 15 years. So how is it that he's getting pushed out and Kendrick is they're trying to replace him? And it's like, oh, Kendrick's the media darling. So what was Drake the whole time? What was Drake? I'm not getting your argument, but so people gonna say that Kendrick Lamar fans, what do y'all got to say now? Because Kendrick is a pop star. You see, this is what it is. So look, this is my thing. Popular music is popular music. It depends on how you use it. You can either be a Kendrick or you can be a Drake. One or the other. You can either be a Jay-Z or you can either be a Post Malone. Whatever one. You can either be The Weeknd or you can either be Drake. You know what I'm saying? You could either be either one. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, what bothers me the most about people who say stuff about Kendrick is they don't take into consideration that Kendrick Lamar stayed true to himself the whole time he's been in the game. And he's been giving us consistent music that makes you think and it's something that has a point to it. So whether you want to say this is pop music, and I like Taylor Swift. I think Taylor Swift doesn't get the credit she deserves when it comes to certain things. I ain't saying that she's the greatest singer. I ain't saying none of that. She ain't in my top 10. I like her because Taylor Swift is she's kind of like Kendrick in a way when it comes to hiding things in her music. She does that a lot in a lot of her music. I actually had an episode a long time ago. I never dropped it where they compared Taylor Swift and Kendrick Lamar. I think that a lot of people gonna call Kendrick call his fans a bunch of hypocrites because they're gonna say, "Well, look what y'all doing. You're saying that Drake is a pop star. Now look, Kendrick won Pop of the Year." But they're not taking consideration that he won Pop of the Year because he dominated everybody in fashion and on top of that, what is the messaging in the music? Because you could be a pop star. You could super soak that whole watch me, you could do that. And what is that? What is that? Like, not to pick on Soulja Boy. I'm just saying, like, how do you, like, what is that? What is that? That chicken noodle soup with a soda on top. Chicken noodle soup. Like, is that something that we can actually listen to and be like, yeah, I can learn from this? You know what I'm saying? So either way, man, I'm just going to say congratulations, Kendrick. Another milestone, 2024. You know what it is. I'm out of here, man. See y'all. Peace.